do you choose a yoga teacher training? There's so many out there. It's very difficult. I mean, you can be trolling through sites for 6 months before you finally find one that speaks to your heart. I think that's really important, is to, read them and connect, either whether it's through, the words, the images, but one should reach out to you and say, this is the one for me. It's a calling from your heart. And then of course you look at prices, and I mean, they range from staggering. You have to mortgage your child. You have to send your child into a Buddhist monastery. or then you can get super cheap ones too. You can just go to the beach in Goa for $1,200 a month. But I think, like, okay, so ours, my Goa training, the Nepal training, they're kind of low end of the super high ones, right? I've tried to price them competitively, but you have to look at, what am I getting for that? I mean, first of all, a yoga teacher training should involve sacrifice. Anything that is going to mean something to you, that is seriously going to transform your life, you have to sacrifice something. And, unfortunately for us, often it's a financial sacrifice. So, yes, you can go and do a 1,200-pound training, but I really think that at the end of the day, it's well-spent money. Of course, when you're running teacher trainings in places like Goa and Nepal, the safety of the students and food is, top priority. And so many trainings out there, they just offer tuition, and accommodation and food is separate. And then, what happens if you do go out and get sick, as you probably likely will, and lose 4 days of a 26-day training? It's not good. And so we really try to guarantee that people won't get sick, when they're eating on our premises, in our venues. We have trained chefs. We have like super clean yogic food. And so that's another reason our trainings are expensive. Also, you want to be comfortable. I'm all for austerity, but when you're working 10 hours a day, it's nice to have a bed that's going to support your back, mosquito net, and these kinds of things. Somewhere to put your books, to maybe create an altar. These little creature comforts, because we aren't agoris. We're actually from Europe or North America, all over the world, and we're used to our creature comforts. So we have to provide a certain amount of those so that the aversions don't become too overwhelming for you. It's hard enough as it is, believe me, to do 10 hours of yoga a day. And then you have to look at the teachers. I mean, teachers are really important. And I mean, I know these days that you'll come on my yoga training without even knowing me. I went to the Source with Patabi Joyce in Mysore. I studied with Richard Freeman, with Nancy Gilgoff. Every single teacher I have studied with, I know them. My Rinpoche, Zonsar Kensei Rinpoche. I mean, these are absolutely impeccable teachers. So, I come from an extraordinary lineage, both of Buddhist teachings and asana teachings. And, you don't want to just turn over your life to anybody. It's important. I also hire who I think are the best teachers out there. There is nobody better than Emil Wendell to teach yoga philosophy. He lived in Nepal for 25 years. He's a scholar. He's a yogi. He totally walks the path. Also, Jim Melanson. I mean, come on, Oxford-trained PhD in Sanskrit, studying under Alexi Sanderson, the Maha teacher of Tantra at Oxford. It really doesn't get any better than that. James is also, a Mahant. He's got a traditional yoga practice in India for 35 years. These are the kind of people that I want to be around, and I also want to introduce to you if you come on my trainings. People like Stuart Gerling, Andrew McGonigal as anatomy teachers. They make anatomy messy anatomy fun. And that's not an easy task. And then there's a whole, support team that I bring in of other teachers who have expertise, whether it's Ayurveda, whether in Nepal, of course, we have the benefit of actually involving ourselves in local communities, like going to Pashupati and being interviewed with Gorakhnath yogis, Agori yogis, Rinpoches we invite and pay, and so it helps the economy and it keeps these beautiful traditions alive. So these are, the fundamental reasons why quality yoga teacher trainings cost more money than non-quality ones. On a few trainings, I've actually had students come with the expectation that I'm going to teach them a series and that the training will simply involve memorizing my sequences. I'm sorry, I'm not Bikram. I don't want to be Bikram. I want you to actually think for yourself. I'm teaching you how to think. I'm teaching you how to break down the elements of an asana and having an anatomy perspective on that, so you then can create your own sequences, to open up the body and safely go deeper into asanas, and to teach, in that way, safely, from beginners through to intermediate people. And so, I don't want you to just come and learn the Heather Elton Vinyasa sequence. I'm trying to share these teachings that I've been practicing for 30 years and to take you into a protective space where you can live as if you're a yogi and do nothing else but practice and be guided by the most brilliant guides on the planet and go deeper and deeper so that you can develop your own voice as a yoga teacher, and then you can hold the torch and share the knowledge. So, next time you go onto a Google yoga teacher training, these are just a few things to consider. Food, venue, quality of teachings, what you're going to learn, and what the experience is going to be like. And be prepared to invest in this. This is your life. It's your spiritual path. I mean, don't entrust it to somebody who doesn't know what they're doing.